from London, this is Q Live. Breton, get ready to play.
Welcome to Q Live. I'm Emma and this is our second edition of Quiztory. Every Saturday for the next 3 weeks we'll be bringing you a special quiz dedicated to one iconic decade. Tonight we are celebrating the fabulous 80s. So put down that Rubik's Cube, dig out that Walkman and listen to a bit of Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you 12 questions on the 80s. You'll have 10 seconds to tap each answer. Get 12 right and you'll win or split the cash. And tonight's prize is an 80s-tastic £1,000. Did you know in the 80s that would have been worth £4 grand? £4 grand. Now, as usual, I've hidden another golden Q somewhere in tonight's show. Get that right and you could be randomly selected to win 100 quid. So keep on playing if you get eliminated because you could still win that cash. But right now, it's time for the game that stops the 80s. This might be your lucky day. Frankie says, relax, get ready to play.
Let's play.
Q1. Who was the UK Prime Minister throughout the 1980s? Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher or David Cameron? Now, the shortest serving Prime Minister of all time is George Canning, who lasted just 119 days in office. Pretty sure that's about as long as I'm going to last here, if I'm lucky. The answer is Margaret Thatcher. Q2. Which of these is the name of a popular general knowledge board game that was first released in the early 80s? Trivial Pursuit, Frivolous Enterprise or Incidental Pastime? My favourite board game of all time has got to be Scrabble. And the word that's going to get you the highest score in Scrabble is oxyfembutazone. Yeah, you try saying that. Right, the answer is Trivial Pursuit. And next up we have a game of At the QVs. This is a poster of a famous film, so take a look at your screen because your question is about to appear. Q3. This is a poster for what 80s film? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Die Hard or The Karate Kid? So, let's have a little look at what we can see here. We can see someone with a white bandana on his head. Definitely looks like he's about to throw a punch there, and there's just some guy kind of chilling in the background. But what film is that from? The answer is The Karate Kid. Absolute classic belter. Right, don't forget I've hidden one golden Q somewhere in tonight's show. Get that question right and you could win £100 even if you've already been eliminated. It's great. Q4. The Doozers, Gorgs and Silly Creatures featured in which of these children's TV shows? Fraggle Rock, Wackaday or Grange Hill? And here's another children's programme fact for you, full of them. Did you know all the Rugrats babies were voiced by women? So that's like Tommy, Chucky, all of them. Right, the answer is Fraggle Rock. Q5. In 1983, who became the first American woman in space? Was it Sally Ride, Helen Sharman or Samantha Cristoforetti? Now, if you could fly a plane to Pluto, the trip would take more than 800 years. 800 years! So, send someone there you don't like. Everyone's a winner. The answer is Sally Ride. Very appropriate, actually. Next up, we have a game of Q Do You Think You Are? So we've jumbled the face of a famous celebrity. Take a look at your screen because your question is about to appear. Q6. Who is this famous face of the 80s? Is it Madonna, Cher or Molly Ringwald? Three very famous faces from the 80s. Two famous for acting and one most famous for singing. But which one are we looking for? You tell me. Right, the answer is Molly Ringwald. Let's unscramble the picture and see what she looks like. Oh, beautiful. You might remember her as well from The Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink. Right, 6 down, 6 to go. And don't forget, the £100 golden Q is still on its way. Q7. Gary Lineker won the Golden Boot at the 1986 World Cup, but who was the only other England player to score in the tournament? Peter Beardsley, Chris Waddle or Brian Robson? In a career spanning between 1978 and 1994, Lineker didn't pick up a single yellow or red card in that time. I can imagine there's a lot of players very envious of him. The answer is Peter Beardsley. Now it's time for question 8. Yes! Our next question is a golden cue. This is where the bonus £100 to one player, even if you've already been eliminated. Q8. Who received the Brit Award for Best International Group when it was first awarded in 1986? The Bangles, Huey Lewis and the News, or U2? So remember, this is worth a bonus £100 to someone, even if you've already been knocked out. It doesn't matter. And the best bit of this, you get to keep every single penny for yourself. The answer is Huey Lewis and the News. And here's what they looked like in the 80s. That was their best-selling album, Sports. Well done if you got that right. Pandora's going to be announcing tonight's winner tomorrow at 8:30. But for now, let's get back to the game. Q9. Which of these people was not awarded a Nobel Peace Prize in the 1980s? Was it Lech Walesa, Mother Teresa, or Desmond Tutu? The oldest Nobel Peace Prize laureate to date is Joseph Rotblat, who was 87 years old when he was awarded the prize in 1995. Not gonna lie, he won't have got much pleasure out of it, will he? The answer is Mother Teresa. Now, if you got knocked out on that question and you've got an extra life, I want you to use it right now because it's going to get you back into the game. Q10. Which of these actors did not play a member of the criminal Fratelli family in the 1985 film The Goonies? Robert Davi, Anne Ramsey, or Steve Antin? It took up to 5 hours of makeup, 5 hours, to create Sloth, whose eye was operated by remote control. I'm not gonna lie, that's how long it takes me to get ready for Q Live. And I've got 2 eyes. The answer is Steve Antin. Let's take a look as well at that favourite movie. Incredible, everyone loves that film. You are just 2 questions away from a grand. Q11. Which of these countries became a member of the UN in the 1980s? Armenia, Belize, or Comoros? Get this question right, and you are just 1 correct answer away from winning £1,000. And if you've made it this far, you're definitely better than I am. Right, the answer is Belize. You are just 1 question away from winning £1,000. It's time to see if you can beat the queue. Best of luck. In the beautiful South's 1989 hit Song for Whoever, of these names, which is first mentioned the earliest? Deborah, Philippa, or Annabelle? Now, if you've got one of those names, I bet someone has sung this at you a million times. So you're going to be going, I know, I know, I know. And this is for £1,000, so it's the biggie. The answer is Deborah. Congratulations. If you answered all 12, you're going to be sharing £1,000. And Pandora's going to be back tomorrow night, that's 2019 for the record, with £2.5 grand up for grabs. It's a biggie. She's also going to be revealing the winner of tonight's Golden Q. Until then, I'm Emma Jones. You can put down your phones. Bye for now.